Yeah, there you go, it's ready
I
for you.
appreciate you.
Yeah, anytime.
Hey, do you remember when Andrew King was in here 2 or 3 meetings ago?
Why did that mean something like,
Don't you know Andrew?
didn't he,
The name was,
contractor or
the
something?
name, yeah, and he's putting that tile down along the railroad track there in West Marion.
Okay. Hey, Jim,
Don't worry about it.
you're making my brain.
Jim.
So I'm gonna assume Richard's not gonna be here?
He usually calls.
No, he actually doesn't anymore. He used to a year ago, but this year, never. Okay, Jim,
Come on, Bill.
I don't know if that's changed now. I'm just gonna just give you an update on it, so you know you've got the right one. Are you moving down into Gordon Key?
I got 2 maps for you guys.
Are we gonna be?
Do you want an agenda?
Right, I don't know. This is the Furman tile. It's over by Van Buren. East. And they're wanting to do some tile replacement. It's bad. I want you to know. This is the Aaron Newby. Here's the outlet. We're working on Mr. Moses. He's here today. He's wanting to raise the maintenance and spend a bunch of money. This is always breaking down real bad, and he's wanting to get some replacement, starting out the head wall, working this way.
I'll say
You got a map for Mark if he gets here. Where am I sitting?
Gordon spot.
Water do here.
Please, there's your agenda. Okay, Furman tile. Well, this is Furman, there's one.
shows up, then we don't have a chair.
Okay, in case you're asked.
But this woods up here.
You know how I have a claim for all the
Woods
general
in
drain?
charge.
After that is paid, this is what we have.
Strong, not all.
Right now, we have that, 'cause you're gonna get.
Only about 10 acres of field.
156 contract.
So there's gonna be a little adjustment.
Yeah, a lot.
What we got an agenda?
Projection.
Is Mark gonna be here?
I don't know where the water does go, you know.
Yeah, Mark will be here.
Right here.
He's always calling, he's late.
I don't
Jim.
know.
Oh, I think it is.
Andrew King
But then when this
came in
goes
here.
full, I think part of
What
it.
was that guy's name?
But there is a major run over here, so.
You know, I don't
I
remember.
get so full.
I've talked to
It goes
her.
both ways.
I dealt with the
And it's hard
lady
to determine which acres are going which way.
and we're good to go. I
No,
mean,
no, I don't know.
I called her back and told her whenever Andrew wants to do
Yeah,
it.
but I didn't know if he started it or.
No, I don't know if he started it because they're gonna pay
You
for
just
it.
go into the computer and we can look at different.
But I called the highway department,
Which side of the railroad tracks is it going in on?
east side.
Well, if Mark can come up
Our
here.
force main's on the west side.
Yeah, we can
But see,
we can go up there and look at that.
at one time,
We wanna know where that water's going.
Agricor cut that tile off.
Right.
Okay, you still want to go to
Good.
750?
Yeah.
That's what I.
And we got an inlet on the Crane Pond tile, but it's at the end of the block and it's too shallow, so. I called, left a detailed message with David. He never called me back. I called the secretary, left another message, but she didn't write nothing down. And then she called me back and said, David said, make a sketch. I said, no, just look at GIS and here's the address, there's all the locations. I don't need to make a sketch. I've explained everything in detail. So I did with her and I never heard nothing back from him. But they're never gonna open that road up, and even if they did, it's in the old Malibu dump site. That road will never be open. And it'd be over at the edge of the railroad's easement. The railroad's approved it.
In 4 years, since 2000. It'll collect close. 6,000. And so over.
Right, and then that's just not too
That's exactly.
So it won't.
And Rudy, I got one picture here of that property. Come up here.
I got a couple things.
Okay.
Three properties there.
Go ahead and fill these guys in.
Well, that's why.
With younger Max, I think,
But, I mean,
well,
whatever.
my sister says it's Max.
Are they
Yeah.
drain cooperative or?
Probably, I think so.
I mean,
Okay,
they could benefit from
Where's that?
being up in there.
I think he
sure.
lives like in Columbus or. I thought he
Whatever.
lived
State
in
Route 5,
Maybe Uniondale.
north, 200
But I
south.
know he does not, he does not
So
live in
they-
Grand Canyon.
they've got,
All fixed up, well, yeah, we just keep this rolling. and we'll get
Brad and
it.
Ann Hall
Keep it rolling.
are selling this
We're
piece to
dealing
their
with
son, he
some
wants to build a
loose
house
ends.
back here.
But we got, you know,
But
we got.
his driveway is gonna
We got it all
go
set aside with.
in
no-
the right of way
Crop
of
there, so we
the
can-
ditch. So
anytime
he
we
just-
get
he wants
your
permission to
approval,
build a
we
drive
want
within
Get it
that
fixed.
county regulated drainage
We just
easement.
got-
As long as
we
they
just
don't
got
build
some
on
wheat
Yeah, he's not
coverage
building
there,
on
and we've
Yeah,
got
it'll just be
on our
gravel.
side,
Yeah.
We're ready to ditch.
So,
Were you guys
Cause the other side of the hill is real steep, so.
Is this his drive here?
the existing drive goes here, but he's gonna cut off the back and bring it up through here.
Okay, so is he gonna be, I mean, if this is the actual ditch itself.
Yes, you got 30 feet.
I'm stirred quite
in the
well.
ditch.
I need the cream taken off.
Is this the top of the,
That's the top
If
of
we
the
could
bank.
just
top
get
of that,
the-
okay.
You know, where most of the breakdowns.
And it's all doable, I mean, you guys might want to sign a whole harmless agreement.
Just looking at the way this is drawn, I was like, I don't think that's doable, it'd be down in the flow, but if he's
Yeah,
at the
that's
top of the
the
bank.
top of bank is right there.
Okay, there's the top of the bank.
And that's 30 feet from the top of bank to his boundary, so he's got
Property line.
Okay.
30 foot to work
That
with.
would be great this summer, but,
They get a good start.
but we, yeah. we gotta
The other
do something.
side is real steep, a slope, that used to be a tile and.
So he's
Set
not
it aside on
looking
purpose do it.
More dirt in it.
reduce our easement or
No.
anything, he just
No,
wants to
he
build
just
what
wants
he's
to build
driving.
within the easement.
Is it gonna be crushed stone or asphalt or?
It's gonna be stone. As far as I know, it's stone.
Well,
But we'll have to track on that side someday. That used to be a tile and since I was surveyor, Bob Baker was the drainage board chairman, we opened that up, made that open ditch. The other side is too steep to dredge from. He's got the low side.
Guess if his driveway's there, we don't have to worry about
Sorry,
the bank growing up in brush.
Yeah. He's aware that you guthey still get in there and use that to maintain.
Their office facilitation.
Keep it back. Make the water.
They sent another email.
Make it difficult.
Gotta check that out.
Hey, you gonna make a meeting today?
Yeah, I was upstairs signing budget stuff, I'm sorry.
Well, at least you showed.
All right.
That, I was trying to figure out what was gonna go.
I forgot Gordon wasn't gonna be here.
You got to.
Oh, he's got COVID?
He was feeling better yesterday, he said.
Our numbers are actually up, on COVID, and, the, hospital numbers are up with COVID again.
How long does it take before you get energy back after COVID?
I still have, I was last year in September, and I still have times where I'm dragging.
Yeah, mine was January of this year and my legs aren't back to normal.
I'm dragging all the time, but I've never had COVID, so.
That's gonna hit you hard then.
There's a great day coming, Pat, there's a great day coming.
Get your vitamin C and vitamin D in.
All right, I apologize for being late. We are, at 5 minutes after the hour? Ready to go to work? We will call the Grant County Drainage Board to order June 28th, noting 3 of 5 members present. That does constitute a quorum, and we can do business. Mr. Cox and Mr. Goff are not with us today, and so we will move forward. Do we have the right guys to move on our minutes?
Yeah.
Because we were all here last time, weren't we?
I'll make a motion.
All right. Motion, Mr. Gates.
I guess I'll say.
Second, Mr. Pinkerton.
Well, he can go first, I don't care. I've read them.
I can always second them if we need to, if you're just deciding not to, but
It's not the unthinking.
any questions, comments, editorial changes?
Unthink.
Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. You second the motion, so you can't say no. All right, that carries.
Just like that.
Jim, I think we're ready to walk through the claims.
First one, Chronicle Tribune, $28.90 on Pipe Creek, $158,872 in the fund. Sullivan's Excavating, $790 on the Lomax Open Drain, $37,907 in the fund. John's Repair Service, $2,635 on Aaron Newby, $12,711 in the fund. John's Repair Service, $1,202.50 on Aaron Newby. Right-of-way management, $45,405.90 on Ditch Spring. These are all various ditches, about 40 miles. Right-of-way management, $2,568.51 on the Doyle Ferguson, $67,335 in the fund. Blackford County, $4,556.46. This is outbound joint drain collection. So this is money we've collected and we're sending to Blackford County, right, Marion?
Yes.
He's outbound.
Yep.
Howard County, $3,270.74. That's outbound joint drain collection. Wabash County, $1,911.65. Outbound joint drain collection. Wells County, $607.17. Outbound joint drain collection. Huntington County, $576.28. Outbound joint drain collection. Grant County Treasurer, $3,125.43. This is a loan from General Drain Improvement Fund to maintenance. And then Cook Excavating, $2,550 on Pipe Creek, $158,872 in the fund. Cook Excavating, $1,402.50 on Pipe Creek. Cook Excavating, $2,805 on Pipe Creek. Cook Excavating, $1,530 on Pipe Creek. Cook Excavating, $2,040 on Pipe Creek. And this is 5 different landowners, and I think he's done right now. There was a couple trees that are kind of halfway in the ditch that we can't reach because of easement restrictions. That we'd have to track over corn, so we're gonna have to leave them, but I think he's wrapped up the season with this bill here.
What's the Lomax, Sullivan?
That was beaver dam removal. And we've talked to the guy, he's supposed to have somebody that's gonna be trapping the beavers. Mark met him.
That's on, the Heritage at University Plaza, behind there where we had the beaver on the Lomax.
Okay, that's a other Sullivan, that's a
Yep.
Lower Sullivan connection.
Okay.
And then, the General Drain Improvement Fund, a loan from General Drain Improvement Fund to maintenance was that Grant County Trade, $3,125. There's $156,419 in our General Drain Improvement Fund. It can be used to help maintenance if we can get it repaid in 1 year.
Can you say that
After
again?
that's taken out.
That's after that claims took out. $156,419.
Thank you. All right, other questions, comments, concerns on those claims?
I'll make a motion, we pay the claims as presented.
Motion, Mr. Pinkerton, second, Mr. Cates. I think we're all discussed it out of that, or discussioned out of that. All right, hearing none, all those in favor would say aye. Aye. It is carried. All right, under old business, Little Crane Pond, no movement on that vacation situation. Hummel Creek, we haven't had any updates from Leone. Solar ordinance, the commissioners are hearing that on Monday for the recommendation from area plan. To new business, Furman Tile, Randy Thurman. We wanna look at some tile replacement.
Yeah, we've been out to look at it. This is the first section closest to the outlet. It's really old, it's broke down bad, and it's been band-aided over the years. And, there is, $15,029 in the fund. And it's gonna bring in 1,000 in the fall. And they have an estimate here from, Weir's Excavating to present.
You need that?
Yeah.
I got two different estimates, and they're not apples to apples. This estimate goes clear to I-69.
Okay.
That one just stops 1,000 feet. It's an 18-inch tile. It was installed in 1887, and it's tired.
How far, how long is this
Southeast.
tile?
I think up to I-69, it goes to,
Mile, 2 miles?
no, 2,500 feet.
Yeah, I don't have the recorded feet with me, Kenny, but
The mile would encompass the whole thing.
My cousin is this company here, and he just put it on the computer, and he checks down through there. Well, he figured 1,000 feet there and 1,500 feet there.
Bennington.
And he's figuring 18 to replace it with 18. This is on Mark's
I
farm.
wanna show you what we're dealing with.
It's blowed out.
This is about 50 feet from the creek. That's the next hole, that's the next hole, that's the next hole, that's the next hole.
No, we're not questioning that.
So-
Yeah,
So what's the problem?
It's,
I
It's
verified it.
147
I
years
looked
old.
down the hole.
140 years.
yeah, and of course, we just repair it year after year after year, so.
We're tired of
You
fixing it.
got
have re-
access in all of those holes.
Yeah, we're tired of fixing it.
plenty of access.
We have raised this one to $10 an acre, and this money's been building. So they're asking to get approval to do the 1,100 feet at the $16,482.63.
So where does the 1,000 feet?
But that's downsizing the tile
Yeah.
to a 15.
Instead of an 18.
It says 18 is what it is. Do you want to downsize it?
You gonna smooth core or what?
We're gonna smooth core, double wall. That's why it's so expensive, you know, it's.
But that moves more water than the bigger tile, doesn't it? I
It
mean,
won't move more than the 18, but it'll move an adequate amount.
The 18 has been repaired so many times, we don't know what all's been put in there every
Is there
time.
anybody gonna pattern tile up there in that area?
Pattern tile.
Yeah.
every 50 feet or every 75, just,
I mean, is this gonna be big enough?
you don't generally do that, do you?
We don't know, we was gonna look at the watershed, Raymond wants to look at the watershed when we leave here, and he thinks that watershed goes some to the east and some where we're going.
There's more hills, I doubt they pattern it, they'll probably more go after the spots.
It'd definitely take care of us,
Yeah.
but on the other side of I-69, we don't know. It's under 69, and what they did in 1963, when they built 69, nobody knows what that is.
So we'll carry a negative balance
I
in
haven't
the
looked at the
spring.
map, I'm maybe I'll find around 69
If it is slightly
blueprints where it goes under. If I can locate it, then we
So
can
is
force
this-
them to.
And you know
run.
that cer-
1,000 feet downstream?
Right, it's at the outlet.
Okay. So 1,000 feet from the creek on
Mhm.
upstream.
And there is surface water. We walked the I-69 right away, and there is surface water that crosses and dumps on your side.
69 pays into that, don't they,
Yes.
somewhat?
Yes.
Yeah.
If I had my preference, I'd like to put an 18 back in since an 18 came out. But I do believe that probably with the improvements we made in 142 years, that probably the tile that you put in at 15 inches will be adequate. I would just like to put 18 back in, but, you know, we don't get to make that decision.
Well, what we're running into is we wanna make sure you got enough size there.
Yeah.
Plus, people, that you wouldn't think come in and pattern tile, put in a tile ever 90 foot or 45 foot, they're plowed in tile
The
now.
farm that this is going through has already had pattern tile done to it, and its outlets don't use this main.
Okay.
The outlets run parallel to it and dump into the creek independently. So this 1,000 feet will never be used for this specific farm. It's just gonna get the water from the north through the farm.
Through the farm.
I had a systematic person come in and tile that every 40 feet, and they run a 6-inch tile on each side. I said, stay away from that county tile, stay away from it. So we put mains on each side of it.
Because of that scenario, I think you'd be okay.
So let's go with 15, if you got the funds, get it approved.
If that's what you want to do
You
today.
know, if the farm sells.
Well, that's what we have funds to almost do.
Like that's for sale.
Yeah, we'll be carrying a negative balance into the year, but that's okay.
This particular ditch does have other regulated ditches that come up to it on multiple sides. There's one to the north, one to the west. I'm seeing another one to the east, but I can't find it in the.
And it's receiving water from them? This
They're,
line?
they're sharing the same area. As far as
Okay.
adding more area onto this, it's unlikely that this would grow, be more likely that the other systems would be improved. I mean, with the lay of the land and how stuff falling, to make it come their way wouldn't be as close to an outlet as they can get an outlet other direction.
Can we address one more thing since I'm here and talk? Rude's Run has no maintenance on it at all, Jim says. It needs to be put on the Grant County Drainage Board and taxed.
That's the open ditch that it dumps into that runs through Van Buren.
Rude's Run is separate from New Rude's Run.
Correct.
Right,
Rude's
that's the
Run is
tile.
just
Because
tile,
we
That's
fixed
the tile.
New Rude's. Okay.
which would help its outlet to have the ditch
And when,
on maintenance there
it's
also.
been quite a few years ago, the landowners pursued that. And when we got to the town, they did not want to put it on maintenance. And then they also objected through their attorney that if we put the county part on maintenance and dumped the water on them and caused problems, they could sue us. So that's the reason it's not on maintenance. The town since has had water problems. I've been to the town city hall, got their watershed maps, and said, if you guys want to either maintain this through your maintenance department, or you petition the board to put a tax on it, but you're gonna have to back us up through your storm drains that you're requesting us to put a tax on everybody in town, because you're looking at least $50 a home site, $100 a home site for, and me and Kenny drove it and looked at all the
There's
structure
two or three bridges or culverts over
In
that,
town.
and there's houses, or not houses, but sheds
right
in
on.
our 75-foot easement.
Yeah.
Utilities, it would be a very tough clean out.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to.
So they've just been Band-Aiding it and picking up the brush that washes down on the bridges. But we kind of left it in the town's ballpark. They've got to support, if we bring it to a public hearing and charge a ditch tax, the town board has to support that.
Mhm.
And they never got back with us.
Seems like I remember part of that conversation.
It's been a while back,
Yeah.
a few years.
Yeah.
Me and
4 or
Kenny
5
drove
4
it.
or 5 years ago.
Yeah, we drove it. I've got a good storm drain map, and me and Cindy worked hard on tying everybody in, because just a few people fall out of the watershed, and it goes through a tile, it goes south of town, in the Ball Diamond area.
But it'd be a fair to do.
Yeah, I don't know how you
It'd
get
be a rough
through
one, it'd be a
their
rough one to
utilities.
clean.
Let's take the Rude's Run request under advisement and get back to whether or not we need to approve this tile replacement.
On this Furman.
Yes, on Furman. So Randy and Mark, you feel good about doing the 15-inch?
It'd definitely help us, there's no doubt,
If that's all we can afford, that's a whole lot better than the holes we have now. And honestly, we don't have a good outlet. I think that these blowouts are not coming from the bottom up. they're not, there's so much pressure, it can't get to the ditch, it's blowing them out the top, so. We gotta have something done this year.
And they're all quartered, there's no where to stop if you start trying to just all start following
Well,
it.
it's 130, 40 years old.
Yeah.
So this would solve that across their farm.
Yeah, it's just whether it's big enough, whether they need an 18 or 15.
Do you have a price difference between the 15 and the 18?
That 18 is like $17 a foot, and the 15 is 14 a quarter a foot. But the guy that's got that machine to put in an 18-inch tile, he's got a big long chute on the back to put in the sections, and then he's got a hydraulic system that pushes them together, he screws them together. He's made this just for a great big tile.
They put gravel over that.
Well, he hasn't been. You can if you wanna do it that way.
A lot of them over
That's-
our way, they
Yeah.
put gravel.
That's the way to do
Pretty
it.
much.
It's wonderful. Yeah.
The
if-
16
If you
Better
got the
with
funds,
gravel.
responds to just 1,000
you got the
feet
funds,
to
it's
the
wonderful.
18, is that right? To do the whole thing would be the 37.
Yeah, if you could do the 18 the whole way, that'd be my preference, but it's gonna cost 3,000, 3,500 more, just in tile.
Yeah,
What's it pull in a year?
I'm guessing what,
What's
a couple
this?
thousand, because we're only getting 1,000 this fall.
Mary?
How much was it bring in a year, 2,000?
Mary's
I'm
checking.
bringing it up.
I don't see that on.
Things slow.
That's the problem, if you guys wanna have a hearing and raise the taxes, the money wouldn't come in until next spring, and you
You know,
know,
let's not put it off.
Yeah,
If
let's
we
not.
can- If we can put in a 15, you can approve that and go up 1,000 feet. There's I&M telephone poles. If we can go to the I&M telephone poles and intersect that from there going on I-69, we'll watch the rest of it.
We're not going to an 18, thinking the money on the raise, raising the rate.
I'm not sure that they want to entertain that right now. You're not interested in raising rates, are you?
I think if we could afford a 15, I mean, that one lasted 140 years. I think if we could put in a brand new one, I think we'd be good to go.
and this is basically carrying everybody else's water, cause they've got their own laterals with their own private
This
tile.
doesn't
that
even
aren't
drain
tied
it.
into
This
that.
doesn't
aren't tied
drain
into
on
this
the
field.
store.
I'm wondering if the 18 was installed with the thought that those tiles would have tied into this
Oh, yeah.
originally.
Yeah.
And now that they're not, the 15 should handle it.
That estimate for 16,000 is 1,100 feet, right?
Yeah.
And you're asking about the ferment, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
So how much it bring in a year?
Oh, it brings another 1,000 in the fall, about 2,300.
2,300 a year, see, that's, you probably need to be $50 an acre to get the money right away.
If it brings in 2,300 a year, in 2 years, you'd pay the difference between a 15 and an 18, and still have reserve.
When would they put this in, this fall or what?
We didn't plant it, we left a 25-foot right-of-way right through the poplar, so they could do it tomorrow if they
Anytime.
wanted to.
How about that? That's smart.
We was hoping to twist your arm and get something done.
What's the rest of the tile look like that we're not replacing with this 1,000 feet?
At the intersection, it's a 12-inch plastic tile. So I don't know that it's all plastic going north, but at that 1,100-foot mark, we've opened that. Randy opened it Saturday, and it's plastic.
So it's 12 to the north of it.
It is 12,
So we'll be receiving it at a 15.
yeah.
And we went up and looked at it later that day on the west side of 69, I don't hardly ever remember it breaking down or getting bills for that area. It stops there in that little bowl.
Mark and I's repaired some stuff.
Who farms that?
Behind that woods, you know.
I don't know who farms north of 69, but between the 1,100-foot area and 69, we farmed that, and we've repaired that multiple times, but nothing has been broken down to the degree that we are now.
Could we front the difference between the 15 and 18?
We've got,
And then,
That'll leave you nothing for any other repairs for 2 years.
uh,
So that'll leave you nothing for any other repairs for 2 years. Anything further upstream breaks.
we'll just have to do it yourself.
so basically,
You're hoping this goes another 100 years.
this is where it starts and then moves south.
Right.
So all of this is just draining toward.
Yeah, this is the flow ground, that dark area right here where, yeah, there's an inlet out there.
Glad we've got an engineer with us, because I would hate to spend their money on a 15 when we ought to go to an 18, but I don't want to spend their money if we don't need to go.
Engineer or not, I don't know what the original drainage calcs were, so.
If there were any.
So in other words, it's no help. I'm just saying, in theory, if water that would have gone into that has been taken off and run down to Roods or wherever, then okay, they probably don't need the original size tile, but that's all speculation, so. If we wanna run the account into the red for 2 years.
That's not been our practice.
Put the 18 in.
The only account we've run in the red is we don't even have an assessment on right now.
Yeah.
Still trying to get that back.
Well, we can live with the 15 if we can do it this summer. That would be so much of an advantage for us since we're already prepared for it.
They're trying to talk themselves into letting me put the 18 in and.
How much more
Yeah,
is smooth core?
and I'm really happy if you do the 18.
Don't have to
I
figure
don't
it
know
out.
anymore, prices have gone all
You
over
know,
the place.
heading forward.
Anything plastic is up.
That would let your neighbor.
No, I'm not talking
to the
about
north
price, I'm
and
talking
east
about
hook into it better.
Capacity.
Yeah.
Capacity.
Oh, yeah,
Smooth
absolutely.
pull.
Could add
Smooth
more
core.
acreage onto the system itself, more people paying into
Quite a
it.
bit.
I'm happy to do it.
And whatever
They'll
the
agree to it.
15.
Do you have a recommendation on that?
This thing hasn't had the capacity of 15 inch.
I mean, they want help, absolutely.
You see what I'm saying?
It
With
wouldn't
the
hurt
condition
if
of
we,
this
to
tile,
put it in the red too.
probably for 80 years, it's been blasted.
I mean, it's gonna be so bad.
Was that taking in all this?
Who else has
area
the
to cover
capacity
all
to
this
draw
land?
right now on this
All of this
particular
we've got them, this is a
tile,
tile.
the Furman?
Whoever's on the north of 69, north and west of 69.
Yeah, if it would break over
This
there.
is Merrick Corporal,
I think the
Merrick
15
Corporal and Jim Yarger has farm ground west of 69. Is on this sheet here. You want to
Okay.
get a sheet here?
Yeah,
There's just 3 owners there on that.
Yeah, there's just 3 farms on the west side of 69, you know, it will definitely help them, but there's what you printed me, Jim.
okay, I
Oh, you got it right
I got
there.
a copy here, I just didn't know who was over there.
Yeah,
If we do the 1,100 feet, then we're saying for the next 2+ years, anybody on the west side of 69 is just gonna have to wait.
Either that or general drain further loan or a repair.
For just a
If
tile
it's a couple
repair.
$100 repair
Yeah.
with them having an incoming assessment roll. Or,
Well, if they're okay with it, I just put in the red 2 years and go with the 18.
You guys all right with that?
go and clear to I-69,
no, the 1100.
Just 1,100, 18. inches to the 1,100. I feel good about it only because I have no idea either why they put an 18 in to start with, but clearly they felt it was necessary. And
Guilford Weir talked like
Those old timers are pretty smart.
1887, you're not kidding. You're not
And
kidding.
that was put in before 69, and some of the right-of-way does dump into this
Oh,
and
yeah.
crosses there.
That first number on that list, whatever acreage that is, that on your assessment roll there, that first one out, 9 acres.
is it first assessment, the interstate?
I think so, yes. That
Oh,
number.
they're saying 11 acres,
Cause it breaks.
The highway,
state highway, yeah.
Cause it breaks to other ditches. There's numerous ditches up there.
Right.
I mean, you go just south and it's gonna be dumping. in
And I
the
think
front.
it helps is their surface pipe's kind of down in the hole, so water has to run uphill to actually drain this way. It gets pretty deep.
what we will do, ask them if they want to go for an 18 and
Yeah, I'm happy to vote today and to get them moving. It's just whether they wanna be in the red for 2 years and not be able to draw anything, so.
For me, I mean, I'll just pay for it myself for the next 2 years. We'll just have to run that risk. If it breaks down, we're gonna fix it, because we can't drive across it, and we'll just,
You
whether
guys
I'm
don't have a
paying the tax
problem
to the
with-
county, or whether I'm paying it myself, it's the
Right.
same cost.
You still,
So
Same pocket.
if you guys would agree to the 18 for 1,100 feet, I think going forward and our kids, whoever's gonna take care of it, I think that's a better deal. If we can't afford it and we have to go to the 15, I can live with it, I just prefer the 18.
you want me to make a motion? Go
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we go to the 18.
For 1,000 feet, clear up to I&M poles.
yeah, 1,100 feet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and we'll put a riser right there, a breathing riser, that's what they wanted to do. There's no risers in there to let that tile breathe.
Right.
we're putting it in the red for a couple of years, but, you know, better to have,
We have it seconded. Now we can discuss anything else. We know we're gonna put it in the red for a couple of years, and they're willing to, take care of any of the small things that pop up, so. Ready to vote? You ready, wanna talk some more? All right, all those in favor would say aye. 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 Carried unanimously. Time to go to work.
Okay.
You can't say that drainage board slowed us down now.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much, yes.
well, you never know what, it's better to have enough than on the short side on drainage anymore.
When we get that 1,000-year flood, you're in good shape, right?
That's right.
All right, let's go to Luger Creek and tributaries. Rudy's got a request on easement.
That's right here, Mark.
Okay.
You guys want to do it later?
All this.
I'm live for you. I got another sheet if you want.
Okay, he's got a better one there.
Thank you.
Our ditch is right to the east of that, it would be a gravel driveway on the red.
So, Rudy Bookveen with Brandon Miller and Associates, we're requesting, our client is proposing to build a new home on this new 5-acre or a little, almost 6-acre parcel. And he needs a drive. His drive is going to be, in order to access the home, is gonna have to be within the easement for the ditch. He's got about 30 feet from the top of bank of the ditch to the boundary line. So he'll be constructing his drive within that 30-foot between the top of the bank and the boundary line. So we're requesting permission to construct a drive within the county regulated drainage easement for the ditch.
Does that create any type of hindrance for us?
No, I don't
access?
see any problem with it. They may need to track over at some date, so the county would not be liable for any
Yeah.
damage to the gravel.
And he's aware of that.
If we got dirt on it or something.
So they can't build on there.
No,
How
not building it.
deep is the ditch and how steep is the bank?
The banks are steep, they're about 1 to 1. The ditch is probably 8 feet deep there, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
It's over your head a couple feet.
He wants to keep that driveway then as far back away from
Yeah.
the top of the bank as
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
He wants to hug his property line with it then.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not gonna try to get close to the bank, for sure.
You could slide in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy that lives back there now, Mr. Hall, he also has, when the driveway turns, it's also in the easement.
Yeah.
It was there forever, that driveway. Boy Scout camp used to be on the top of the hill. But yeah, he's made sure he don't slide in the winter.
Yeah.
I see Area Plan Director is on. Any comments or thoughts? You've been looking at this, Ryan? The question is whether he's actually off with listening right at the moment.
I was on the phone. I didn't hear what you were talking about.
We're talking about 1779 South 900 East. It's an easement request. Does Area Plan have any concerns? Have you seen this at all?
900 East.
How do you pronounce that? Bunktevin? Bunktevin. They're wanting to put a house on 5.9 acres, and they're going to ask for a bit of a easement request for us. You guys don't have any problems or anything out in that area, do you?
Well, I don't believe so, but I don't have it in front of me right now. I know we've got the racetrack out there. We were out there for another issue on, they were dredging up one of the ditches out there, and then we had a question on Heimlich with some of the rubble going on one of his properties, but this doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, I just want to make sure they're just asking for use in our easement area, and if you don't have any flags or any concerns right now, I'm happy.
Yeah, this will cause no problem. It'll be a gravel driveway within our Thompson ditch easement.
Right.
What was that address once again?
1779 South 900 East.
There's a current driveway there that goes back and tees and then goes on around. You see where the crossing is?
Right.
On this picture here, that's where his crossing is to get to his house on that.
Oh, okay,
Right
yeah.
there's a crossing. This is not gonna cross the ditch. This home site's gonna be on the west side, so there won't be no crossing involved.
Well, there's that ditch goes through the woods.
I don't see any real problems, so.
No.
Any other questions, comments, concerns from the board?
No, I'd say as long as they keep it away from the top of the bank as far as possible, which is what they should want to do anyway, for their own safety. I'd be good with making that motion.
According to this, they have to clear trees and so forth.
Oh, they'll probably have to clear some trees.
I'm thinking they do, yeah.
There's a lane there that exists now, though.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, an access lane. It was in grass last I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did you make a motion or were you ready to entertain it? Or?
Yes.
So you are making a motion to grant the easement request?
Yeah, with the caveat that they keep it as far away from the actual drive, as far away from the top of the bank.
Okay. Make sure that gets tweaked in there, Mary.
Second with all the building.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
We don't want anything built on the road.
Nothing built on it but the road.
How much you bring in a year?
right. You ready to vote? All those in favor would say aye. Aye, it is carried.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, thank you. Is Nick here, or is he just
No,
sending something to you?
yeah, I just, he's done made the meeting, and then we had our meeting with the highway department. And, David's got his done, and we already agreed, or I understood, we already agreed. His estimate for his tiling was $21,231.70. They have $19,217 in the fund, so we were gonna borrow the remainder. And I understood that we already told him that he could do it. So I've told the contractor to go for it. And they bring in $4,024 a year. So it's gonna bounce back next year.
Okay.
The fund will. We'll be borrowing the remainder, the 19,217 from 21,231.70.
1,500, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm. And they'll pay that back then some. And then this other one has been replaced closer to the outlet, so this is the final maintenance replacement of this tile to the end of the county tile.
It's taken over a year to get Mick happy about
Mm-hmm.
the road, and then, so,
What did they do out there? Like 400 or?
No.
They cut.
Once David realized that the Indiana code said he's to do it, he, cut the road.
We already knew that, though, didn't we? All right. What's your desire on the unthink?
And I've already committed to the contractor to do it, because I thought he'd already got approval to borrow the money.
So what you're telling us is.
You missed that meeting. I think you missed that meeting, Pat.
So you're just telling us it's going forward,
Right.
and we're done?
Right,
Okay.
just keeping you informed.
We don't need
Or
anything
we
else?
need to officially approve it since you've already told
Did
me.
we approve?
Well, Mick done came to a meeting and we already decided to
Yeah,
loan the
We
money.
did
We
it,
picked
okay.
this thing out.
Because it gets paid back, plus there's gonna be money, see, so that's why I told the contractor.
So we don't need to do it.
So this is after the
Yeah,
fact.
because he's wanting, the contractor's gonna go through the props on this one too.
He had brought you guys 3 different quotes, and they weren't apple to apple quotes, but you agreed to do it, but you needed a better
Okay,
price.
And this is the one he tied down and he wanted to do it.
okay. I think we're a go.
Thanks, Raymond.
All right, we're under other business now. Aaron Newby and Greg Wood requesting maintenance.
This is another one, we've raised the maintenance on it from what it used to be. And, John's Repair Service, we had those bills today. He's worked at the outlet. The county highway department did come in and put a crossing across the road. And, he's got a request here to, spend some money and also raise the maintenance. Go ahead, tell him you.
From $5 to $2.50 or $7.50.
$750. And he's filled out a petition, he has 200 acres, so that's gonna get us to
I
a
talked
public
to-
hearing.
Kenny Hope, he's got 180 there.
Yeah, we'll have to have a hearing, that's what he's requesting. He's given his petition to Mary for the hearing, so you guys could set a hearing date. But the other, do we have an estimate from
You should.
John's Repair?
You should have 2 there. One should be-
Okay, and Mr. Wood, what are we wanting to do here?
What is that, 15, 17,000? What, is that the big one you're looking at, Jim?
There's one for $17,435.
That's the one he'd like to pursue. That's replacing like 810 feet from where the county, or the highway department did the road. Go 810 feet upstream, encompasses a hole that he has by his house now, and then fixes another, smaller break over towards the county road to the east. That money would do both of those, but the fund doesn't have that at the moment. It's got the 12,700 in it, but you have the 2 claims, which we weren't calculating when we did our math in the office. The 2 claims bring it down to 8,800 and some cents. It pulls in another 1,200 this fall, which brings it back up to about 10,000. They're pulling in about 4,200 a year now. He's wanting to raise it to 750, so it's gonna be back up to about 6,300 a year, be what it pulls in.
And he has the outlet, so all this that breaks down, just like on the Furman tile, he has to deal with. This would be starting at the outlet, and we've got it fixed under the county road for the first time ever. And now this would be continuing that on into a good tile.
And Rickner has been in contact with the railroad, and they've made a commitment to come clean out under the railroad. They haven't showed up yet, but they did make a commitment to him that they would do it in June. He's waiting until the beginning of July to call them and ask. Told him if he's having a good relationship, go ahead and let him
Then
pursue
they
it.
was gonna put in at least another 10 foot of culvert pipe on the west side of the railroad.
He's calling me off.
Keep the stone from, every time a train goes through, going down in there.
How many acres are on Aaron Newby?
754.
Yeah, it's 754.32.
Do you anticipate a lot of objection to the
I talked
250?
to Kenny Hoke, and he's got right at 200 in it, and he said
That's more
whatever.
than half of
And I don't think,
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted us to advertise higher than 750 so we can bring it back to 750 if there's objection, or if you just want to stay at 750.
we talked about that, and I don't see any objection at 750.
Okay.
Randy Atkins is at the end, and he's pro drainage. He's already kind of fixed the tile up on his property at his expense. And he's at the end,
My
but he
thing is,
needs
if
the
you put
drainage
it-
downstream.
750, people may not say a word, but if you put it at 10, then they'll,
Sure.
What railroad is that the north and south railroad?
yeah, it comes out of Fairmount.
This goes across to a concrete structure, then it outlets into the big 4-foot pipe that goes under the railroad.
We worked on a place north of there here a few years ago,
Right.
because the rocks got in.
Yeah, Bragg's cleaned that pipe out on the west side a couple times.
Was that the same pipe?
Uh-huh, yeah.
What railroad is that?
I'm not sure.
Depends, I don't know, Conrail,
Could be,
but I'm not.
yeah.
Last time, I went out and got the number, the emergency number, and talked to 4 people. Got transferred 4 times. Talked to 2 lady engineers at the last, and they were gonna get back with me, and then I never heard from them.
Would that one of them show up at the drainage board meeting? What was it?
Not on that one, I don't think. I don't remember, Kenny.
But I remember we had a problem, there was a little pond or something there. And, we wrestled the railroad for a while.
Right.
You did, or somebody did.
Right. Well, they cut the highway department off from working on it.
There you go.
Then their sign fell in and fell down on its face from the suck hole. So then they let Bragg fix that.
Okay.
Deal with the railroad on the Dean ditch and the Ralph ditch on that same railroad.
That was why I was trying to get him to look at a fiber optic spot in the right of way.
Either the Ralph or the Dean, one of the two, we went out there and looked at.
So we've got 2 requests, right?
Right.
The public hearing, we can pick a date here shortly and get ready to advertise. What about the actual maintenance?
Borrowing from the maintenance to pay for the repairs? Or the,
General drain improvement fund to pay for the footage.
yeah.
How much is that again?
We need about 5.
Need 5,000.
What was the amount on that estimate?
And what did it come in a year at, Mary? What did they pay a year?
It's about 4,200 now, but if they raise it, they'll pull in about 6,300.
Well, 4-year cap.
If it's raised to 750, it'll bring in 6,000.
Oh,
Okay. It brings in $4,240 yearly.
At the current rate. If he raises it to the 750, it'll pull in
It'd get all paid off in 1 year.
It'd be real close. Is that estimate 17 or 15?
17.
Because if you take their balance now and subtract the 2 claims that they've got on it, it gets down. Gets to 88 minus the claims then, but the 1,200 it collects this fall takes it back up to 10,000. If they get their increase, they'll have 6,000 more with that. You'll have 16,000. It'll be like 1,000 short of what they're requesting.
But they'll quit Band-Aiding and fixing that area all the time.
Yeah, because if they don't, they're just gonna have more blowouts next year.
That area they're replacing has got the most problems in it of any place along there.
And it's the outlet for the
Yeah.
tile.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Make a motion for John's repair to work now, then take the difference out of the.
Are we looking at 2 years again?
At least a year and a half, yeah.
A little over a year.
Yeah.
About $1,000.
But not as much as the ferment.
Yeah. We can solve the problem.
It's definitely a problem, needs fixed for years.
Make the motion.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Mr. Gates is making a motion to move forward with the work on Aaron Newby. We have any stipulations to that, or we just?
No, I assume this is for what, the 17,000 in work and then pay it back?
We'll pay it back over.
Next year, it's under $1,000.
Yeah, okay, I'll second.
That motion with support. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye. Aye, it is carried. So we move forward on that. Let's talk about this increase on the public hearing.
That's up one out there.
Well, if it takes us 7.5, so that,
If you make it $8, it'll get that other $1,000.
We won't push it. You don't want to push it, we won't push it.
So we need a date.
Yeah, we need a date,
I
and are
can
we
go
just
August
talking August 9th? Are we just talking about the increase? We're not talking about changing homestead or minimums or anything?
And he wants to leave it at 4 years.
Okay. So we would just be a public hearing to amend it to $7.50, raising it from $5. And August 9th, you said, could be our
That's the
first?
soonest I can legally do it.
Okay.
And you can have it ready by then?
Oh, yeah.
Well, we need a motion then for.
Yes, we do.
I'll make the motion, we have the.
That's a motion for August 9th for the public hearing with the increase to $7.50 an acre, all other items remaining the same. We have to be any more clear than that for advertising, we okay?
Nope, I got it.
Okay. We had a motion and support. Other
I
discussion?
made the motion, I seconded it.
Hearing none, all those in favor would say aye. Aye. It is carried.
Okay, thank you. And I want to say to Andy, I'd never met him until he started working on this. I think he does pretty good work.
Good, good. Thank you. All righty.
Okay, thank you.
One more, I think, and I want you to know that it was Mary that jinxed us today. She said there wasn't gonna be a Gene Johnson motion
I did,
today.
I was very truthful.
So the Hollis Daughtery, what do we need to do here?
You had asked me to get a list of the money in and out and expenses of the last couple of years, so I
Okay.
went 5 years.
Because we were looking for an average, weren't we?
Yep, and then if you go to the second page on this that I sent, that's the drains that I feel need a public hearing. You asked me to get together.
Yeah.
And I've emailed that out, but we could pass this around.
Okay.
Let me see if I
And,
can.
you know, some of them smaller, but like Pipe Creek, it does have, it's a 4-county joint board, Gordon Goff's the chairman. It's at 50 cents an acre with a $5 minimum. You know,
I can figure it out.
the smaller ones I can see raising the maintenance. But we got, you know, we're doing okay with it. We got 158,000 in Pipe Creek.
I'm slipping. Here you go, Benny.
I passed mine down to Ben, so.
I'm sorry, I
No,
spent
that's
a
okay.
good time.
The Hollis is only on maintenance from the state road north, and Raymond's been talking to some of the landowners about, wanting to go south a certain distance, so the rate for the Hollis is what, it's below $1 maybe? And they never have enough money to do what they need or what they want. And that's the situation now with Mark Townsend.
Yeah, Mark Townsend wants to dig about 2,000 to 2,500 feet of it, and
He's gotta wait.
it's already been earmarked for a Maddox for
For-
surface drains.
Somebody's beating to the punch on erosion control.
He wants to come and ask you guys to borrow down the general drain fund, but
I don't see it going there right
It's
now.
too long, it's too long and expansive, it's too low amount.
I think maybe we entertain draws on the general drain improvement fund if we, this sounds like I'm talking like from somebody from the State House now, but if we've got real skin in the game, if they're really contributing to their ditch assessment, then I think we dabbled a little bit today, drawing folks.
These need raised if you want to dip into that.
Yeah.
You're not having no payback.
Yeah,
It takes forever.
it will take forever.
But if they're paying back within like a year, that's fine.
Right.
I have been in conversation with Townsend and Maddox's and Atkins about it. Just trying to make sure we got the water going the right direction before we raise the rate.
Okay.
And we'll probably go with what that group agrees to raise it to, because they're gonna be the major players.
So,
If Townsend ever get enough in there, but what he wants, I don't want to speculate.
well, next time you talk to Mark, it's been forever since I've talked to him, so he largely said that rich farmers ought to do it themselves.
You want that in a minute?
Oh, wow.
No.
Wow.
I'm teasing.
Wow.
You always dealt with Wayne
Give him
Yeah.
your number.
in the past.
I don't think I've talked to Mark since CAFOs.
Okay.
It's been that long.
But Mark would, or Wayne Townsend would wait till the money built up,
Yeah.
and he would make a request, and we always kept it clean and flowing north of the state road.
I appreciated Wayne, and I appreciate Mark too.
Yeah,
I got,
Townsend's section of that is treeless, and Maddox's hasn't been done, and they've got 20-year growth on it.
Mm-hmm.
I got a comment on this here. Would it be possible to come on over with another line?
Mm-hmm.
and
Need
put-
to,
and put the balance
need to, Kenny.
Yeah.
that's in that there, and then go up the top and date it.
Oh, you want to know what the balance is as of what certain date?
Yeah, at the
Well,
next meeting,
no, I mean, the balance is as of
and those
June
funds.
first or
Yeah, and then I'll
whatever, you
email
know.
it out. Okay,
And put, that got 2,000 or
okay, that's the reason why. I
Pine
put a
Creek,
column.
Pine Creek we know's got a lot of money in it, okay?
Like the
But-
Broomfield and Blue, it never has enough money, the Dean never has enough,
Little
Fire and
Pine.
Hudson doesn't,
But if we ever get involved with.
All
Pine
Run
Creek,
Tile doesn't, Wendell's on that one.
If we ever get involved with Pine Creek and cleaning it, it's gonna take that money,
Mhm.
you know?
So again, my question with this, and we definitely want to see the balance. Do we initiate the public hearing because they're so low, or do we check with some of the major players in those watersheds
Well,
too?
Just like the Peterson tile, we was dog wrestling to find out where it was at. It's south of Chisholm's Corner, at 600 down there, and west.
Okay.
And I couldn't find the index card, and I couldn't remember about that Peterson, because we got the Peterson Casey, and we got the Peterson in South Marion.
Well, you said Peterson, South.
Raymond found it.
Yeah, but I called Barry Key
Uh-huh.
because he had 6 acres or something.
See, I was thinking there was a Peterson out there, but when I looked at the drainage
Well,
map,
it's
I couldn't
Phil-
find it on the
was Phil
drainage map.
Peterson, but Phil died
Yeah.
and his daughter's name now, okay?
Okay.
But, it could be such a thing on that one there, that DeVore's has got ground on that.
Uh-huh.
And DeVore's and what's Phil Peterson's son-in-law's name?
I don't know.
Horner.
Harner.
Yeah.
Harner.
Could be, they've been paying the,
They've been fixing it themselves. I know David, he's pro drainage.
yeah, so, you know, and if they're the only ones that's, it may not be, that comes into
Harper,
the Harper ditch, okay? And,
if they're taking care of it themselves, they may not wanna make it on
yeah,
it.
they may not want to.
That's true.
But maybe some of these, we just send the notices out and, saying we're interested in your thoughts. Please give us something in writing or attend a meeting, and then we could just have a meeting with the individuals and see how they feel before we go setting rates and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but,
How much can we increase without,
25%, I think.
yeah,
so we could just
but
increase the 25%.
Right.
Unless you're just looking at the 50 cent
the
one,
thing is,
Yeah.
Well, so we're talking with
That's
that.
true, but.
$12.50.
it don't take long to spend money when, you know, you can spend $20,000 so fast and,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
on tile for sure.
you know.
Yeah, years
Yeah,
ago,
some of these, don't get me wrong, but the price of ground, most of this stuff back here was set in 55 and so
right,
forth.
right,
When
60s, a lot in the 60s.
ground was $300 an acre, $350 an acre, okay?
Yeah, we've raised a lot of these that Jesse Mullen had public hearings on in the 70s.
And now, you're in the $10,000 an acre, and they're, you know.
And these low ditch taxes, what I've went through in the past is some farmer pays attention and his squeaky wheel gets the grease and he calls in, he gets his fixed. Then somebody drags their feet and they call in and say, well, I've told a younger farmer before, the money's all gone. Well, the tile ended up on him in about a 2-acre swamp that he hardly ever farmed. He said, well, I'll just bring a truck and fill in with dirt if the county's not gonna fix it. Now, who's that gonna hurt? I told him, you either raise the ditch taxes or you spend money out of your pocket to fix some drainage problems. How do you want us to proceed? Well, he didn't want us to raise the ditch taxes.
Now, the one thing that I'm gonna put Mark on notice that Pat, before we got the bean counter, if a farmer wanted to finance this thing, even interest-free, okay, but he wanted to put the money up to do this now, you know, you don't wanna, when you go down through here and you gotta go 5-6 years to get enough money,
Right.
and it keeps raising, you know. Fratco raised their prices 25% here.
Have they? Man.
You know, I mean, you know.
And you mentioned him, if we've talked to him lately, Mary did talk to him about fixing some funds or something that was wrong the other day. Darren, didn't you just talk to Darren?
Didn't remember what it was now.
Well, you were getting him to check some funds that wasn't balancing or something.
Yeah, I got it fixed. It was, something the auditors did, but,
Some general fund, one in the general fund that wasn't balancing right.
yeah, because every time I apply claims after they're paid,
Hasn't that happened before?
yeah, I fixed it though. It took me a day, but I got it done.
You know, sometimes Darren's been the one that needs to fix it because he has the ditch program, check with them.
All right, we've got some information in front of us. Would you want to instruct our secretary to develop a letter that we can send to these different landowners
And I would like to just take some at the top and Mary could, I'll help Mary and we'll get a letter just to be informative.
I think we do
Raymond needs to,
systematically. instead
Raymond
of
or
all
Cindy
at
will
once,
update
yeah.
the watersheds, see what we're facing acreage wise, we'll throw some numbers in, see what we'd be comfortable with versus what.
Okay, yeah, that sounds
So,
good.
You know,
basically, you want me to kind of like send out feelers to see if they're interested in
Raising the
raising it.
maintenance.
well, if you get,
And we can take, you know, could you attend, would you like to attend this drainage board meeting? We're gonna discuss this. If you can't attend, send us a letter with your opinion, and we'll kind of feel them out piece by piece. We don't do them all the same day,
Right.
No.
you know, maybe a couple in one
Try it
day.
at the next drainage board meeting.
Huh?
But if you come down through here and you, like if our Hudson deal, you know, if you get us a name of somebody that's on that watershed,
Mhm.
you know, we got a better idea than,
Right.
you know, I don't even know where it's at, okay?
So do you want me to bring a list of what drains we're gonna send letters to, and then you guys approve it, or do you just want Jim and I to decide to just do it?
We can show them the letter.
Okay.
I think
We
you
don't have
guys
to rush
target-
into this. We
Yeah,
got
you
the
guys
rest of the
target
year.
the first 3 or 4 that you wanna do, and then
Yeah.
bring it back and
Try
run.
and see, but I mean. you
It's a
know,
start, it's a start on these last holdouts.
that
We've
we-
had good experience with raising some of them the last 2 years, but
Drainage board raised my home site $50.
I know.
he was happy his wife wasn't, right?
We're always gonna hear about this.
I got the ditch sprayed a while
You
back.
know.
Weeds are all dying.
Lynn paid my taxes,
Yeah,
and she raised heck with me. And she says,
a lot of Kenny's went up.
she says, do you know how much ditch tax is? I said, no, it had to be raised. She tells me.
So, whoa.
I said, huh? She said, well, if you got a problem with it, go look yourself in the mirror.
Okay, yeah.
Complain to the guy in the mirror, that's right.
You're doing your part, that's what's important.
But you know, that laser ditch, we got that cleaned, we spread. We got the Taylor Creek.
How long had that laser been left go? Me and Raymond walked the bottom and probed the bottom, it's had 2 feet of silt, 2.5 feet of silt in places.
Yeah.
I mean, surely, or hopefully it increased your yield. I mean, hopefully that's,
Yeah.
hopefully.
No, you know,
Tiles are all draining better.
I mean, even if you only got 5
You
bushels
know,
an acre more.
you know, it don't do you any good to put any tile in the field if you don't have an outlet. You know, and somebody that's on an open ditch gets a problem keeping them sprayed and all that, but I mean, it's an advantage. And I'll tell you what, that guy come around spraying, there was some comments, a couple complaints or whatever, but they didn't do a bad job, okay? And to get weather so it's not windy, you know, you may only
the
get
spring.
2 or 3 days out of a month.
In the springtime in Indiana.
Yeah, you know, we fight that spring crops.
Well, I hate to ask this, do we have any more business?
We got a lot done today.
I'll make a motion.
I think Pat's gonna second that. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are dismissed. Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
Any movement on
You probably didn't get a copy on this, but Hunt sent me an email today, and he said the finding was against Thornburg or whoever, and the actual owner wasn't named in it, so it's not attached to it, and he's contacting him directly
Robert
to
done called.
talk about the purchase.
I could see it.
How many times?
Just once.
I talked to him.
But this Gary Long
Thomas is
has
doing
called
it.
twice. You know who Gary Long is?
that? All right.
He's called twice.
Who is it, Ray?
Big black,
You know,
having
weeds
fun.
run outlet.
Okay.
We're having fun. We're influencing people. We're doing as much bobbing, weaving, and zigging and zagging as we can, so.
Just hang in there.
We just keep throwing work on Mary, and there you go.
Earning my pay.
There. Go a little.
They didn't I don't think they've told everybody, but it's just rumor mill that they're considering a 10% raise.
10%.
And how they can do that, I'm not
I
sure.
think we put 3% in or something.
No, I'll take 10.
I put
I
in
haven't put my
for
budget in yet.
all of our departments a 7%, which is what the Social Security Administration right now is saying is cost of living.
Yeah,
So I put in for 7%, and I did ask again that the Drainage Board be compensated at least $25 more you
that's good.
pay. So I don't know that they cut me down last year. I thought they approved it, so.
And if you look at the full-time, I'm like the lowest in all of this over there, of all the full-time employees.
So
Well, I tell you what, we wanna hang on to her.
she's doing a good job.
Yeah.
I'm trying.
And I'll tell you what, you know, right now, we're getting quite a bit done,
Well, we are.
Have been for the last few years.
We don't want to stop.
you know, and generally, we're, Richard